how do we help people remember things? Okay, so I'm giving you some examples here that you could use on your applications, on your sites, to enable people to remember them. Okay, um, obviously there are these metaphors. Okay, so um, people remember metaphors, and I'm sure you must have seen those um, applications where your early readers had those uh, page interactions. So flip a page, and that's a metaphor for a book, right? Use that so people would remember how to turn a page on a book, and therefore if you show the same interaction on a tab, they'll probably remember how to turn the page here as well. Again, and now it's not important because people know and they're using tabs for forever now. Okay. um, Recall versus recognition. you know Recall is different. Recall is difficult. um, Recognition is usually easier than recall. So and the way Google uses it is Google sort of show you different words. If you mistype a word, it'll show you that word, and okay, that's the word I'm looking for. So usually try and um give them options, and then you will find people are good at recognition, right? Now obviously you can't do that when you're working with security. Now security and usability are like anti each other. But that's a different topic, right? Again, uh, if you can do that, try and show options, try and fix the possible problems, and then you should be able to solve bunch of issues. Okay. Okay, rhyming is good. Okay. um, in fact, rhyming happens mostly through oratory. In fact, most marketing companies uses it, right? In some cases, they overuse it. So in ads, for example, you must have seen, Britannia, ting ting ting, ting, or these car companies, right? So or whatever. So at the very end, or yeah, or this cricket thing, right? IPL, IPL sound. Okay. Um, so they are using these rhymes, and those are not really words. They are just sounds. Okay, because sounds actually stays on a separate area of the brain, and sounds are also it also don't depend on the language. So if you say do you Yahoo, it's only applicable for people who understand English, right? Um, but this ting 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 is agnostic of language. So a lot of these people are now using these nicer end sounds, so that people remember, and they associate that with the brand. Okay, that's super interesting. So again, you could either use rhyming with words, or you could also use sounds. Okay, if obviously if it's applicable. I mean, you can't just insert sound right everywhere in your app. But this will be easy. It'll help people to remember the message or the brand, or the flow or whatever, right? So this helps. Then you have repetition, so you can make people repeat things over and over again. In fact, there were a bunch of these researches happened for school children, right? So when they should repeat to remember the concepts. Okay, so you could make them repeat. In fact, that's the reason why most ads come over and over again. And by the way, there's logic uh, when they air those ads. Okay, and to whom they air those ads. They're complicated softwares that figure out, okay, for this population, I'm going to air these ads at these times so that more people see it, and then sort of imprints that message. Uh, Again, it's a cool topic to explore. Okay, um, I would recommend that to explore this area. And then we have mnemonics. Um, Vibgyor, um, it's mnemonic, or my very educated mother just served. Um, so it talks about each of these planets, like Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, whatever. Um, so there are these mnemonics you can create to remember things, and then you can associate those words or those phrases with uh, with those concepts. Okay, you could do that for yourself. You can also create mnemonics for your applications, and those are some smart ways to do that. Think about how do you create mnemonics for your applications, for your users, to make them remember complex, maybe uh, difficult topics, right? Uh, so that's a good thing. And then there is also this uh, method of loci. So in fact, if you look at your phones, right? Um, your phones typically have a lot of these applications, right? And usually we know where is our WhatsApp or where is our LinkedIn on your mobile, right? So do you think you can easily access um, that application because you remember that icon? Yeah. So you remember the location, correct, right? And repetition makes you remember the location, right? Habit makes you remember the location. So what you can try is you can ask your mother or whoever is at your home to change the location of that application, right? Put it somewhere else, and then try and open an application. It will take time. It will take more time. So then you really have to scan, and your brain has to function and say, okay, where is LinkedIn? Which is the icon? Is this icon for LinkedIn? Yes. Let me click now. Okay. So that decision making will take time. Whereas because you already know the location of that icon, you don't really have to think about it. You just go and open it up. Okay. And that's an example of method of loci. So one of the ways you can remember things is to associate those concepts with physical space. The physical space you are aware of. So for example, your living room. So if you know your living room, you know where is your dining table, where's your TV, where's your couch, where's the window, do you keep any books? Well, if you remember all those things physically, you can then associate those concepts or those words with that location. Okay, so for example, there are a bunch of words, right? Um, I had to remember for some reason. So I'm going to associate those words with those location, and then because now you remember the location and you remember the thing in that location, it's surprisingly it's easier for you to then recall that word because now you've associated that location with that word. So that's a method a lot of people actually uses. Okay, and then you have this privacy and recency effect, and what it means is um, so remember you go to this mall and then you enter the mall and I don't know, you want to buy this pair of shoe, uh, heels maybe, okay, um, and you enter this first shop and there are these awesome heels, okay, and you like them, but you said, hey, I just came in, right? Let me explore more. And then you go to the second shop, you look at all the heels there, you go to the third shop, you look at all the heels there, and your mind is still on that first heel in the first shop. And eventually, after about 2 hours, you go back, pick up the same heel, and buy and come back home. Ever happened? Yeah, so essentially, your brain does remember the first thing, which is called primacy effect, right? Um, and then the contrary to that is, well, if you usually go to a sari shop, okay, so you're sitting in a sari shop and then or whatever, right? Those people who show stuff, um, and then you're looking at saris like 1, 2, 3, 4, 50, 90, whatever, right? And then um, eventually this guy will say, "Okay, wait, let me show you this awesome piece." And usually this guy does that at the very end when this person sees that you're about to leave. Okay, and then he'll go somewhere, he'll grab this piece and then he'll show you, ये देखो, like, हाँ, ये कहाँ पे था? And then you wrap it up and buy that and come back home. Uh, that happened. Yeah, so that effect is recency effect. So people do remember things that happened at the end. Okay. Now, usually stuff in between, well, people tend to forget. Okay. Which means, well, for your appraisals, you want to be really awesome at the very beginning, which is now, and really awesome at the very end. And then your manager will probably remember, you being awesome. You can lay low in the middle. Anyways, okay, so that's what primacy and recency effects are, and which means for your user, you want to make sure that the user is wowed when this person enters or start the experience, and this person leaves happy. Okay, so as long as these two are sort of taken care of, the experience would largely be remembered as happy experience, right? Um, okay, and then there is this effect which talks about, well, people remember things which are incomplete. Okay, um, like most daily soaps, right? So there is something about to happen and then it ends, and then uh, you have to now go and watch the next episode, right? That's something which you can also try. It usually doesn't really work with applications. Well, you could try that.